Hi, welcome to Pope Digest. Here we cover Pope Leo XIV's encyclicals, messages, and other homilies. Today, we're completing our two-part series on the Holy Father's address to other Christian churches and other religions. So here we left off right where Pope Leo was talking about how he really wants to reestablish a full and visible communion among all those who profess the same faith. This is going to that idea of bringing all Christians under one church once again. Now, the second half of his address is largely aimed at a greater communion. Now, not just a communion amongst Christians, but a communion of synodality and ecumenism. Okay? Synodality and ecumenism. What do these words mean and how are they applicable to his overall mission? Largely, they're concerned with communication. Synodality is about asking questions and coming to communal understandings about questions that not just we as individuals have, but we as whole communities have. Now, Pope Leo, says that he wants a closely linked ideology and closely linked commitment to Pope Francis, which is promoting that conversation, that synodal nature of community among Catholics. Now, he goes a step further in this final page of the document where he says that you have witnessed the remarkable efforts made by Pope Francis in favor of interreligious dialogue. And this is the part I wanted to take a brief sidebar on, and that is interreligious dialogue. What is Pope Leo referring to when he talks about interreligious dialogue? He's talking about organized religious dialogue. So the Catholic Church is an organized religion. That being, it has a set rubric, a set of rituals and practices that the Catholic Church professes and believes. We talked about this in our previous part. If you would like to learn more about what was done at those synods, at those councils, click the link below. But this time around, he's talking about interreligions. So not just, councils like the Council of Nicaea, but also he's speaking about Abrahamic religions, which he does get to when he singles out our Jewish and Muslim brothers and sisters. Judaism, Islam, and Christianity do have all their roots in the same family, in the same person. We call them the Abrahamic religions because we all have our root jointly in the person of Abraham. He is the father of all of those, which if we go back to scripture, we see that God did indeed promise that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. Well, when you consider all the world's religions and all the world's people, if you think about how many of those people, what percentage of them are either Christian, Muslim, practicing Islam, or Jewish, practicing Judaism, that's a significant percentage of all the world's people. Okay, so back to this document, Pope Leo says that he is in favor of, just as Pope Francis was, of interreligious dialogue. Through his words and actions, he opened new avenues of encounter to promote the, quote, culture of dialogue as the path. This culture of dialogue, that is that word again, synod, synodal, okay? Mutual collaboration as the mode of conduct and reciprocal understanding. So we want to have a moment and a culture of dialogue where we speak to one another, Pope Leo says. We want a mutual collaboration as a code of conduct, not one particular group, not just Christians or not just Muslims pushing forward and making all the decisions, because then it's just one group forcing others to agree with themselves. No, he wants a collaboration as that code of conduct. And lastly, a reciprocal understanding. In order to truly understand another person, their point of views, their way of looking at the world and living in it, one actually has to listen. So you have to have that dialogue. One actually has to allow that other person to steer and lead the conversation at times. True collaboration. And finally, that understanding comes when I heard everything they said. I didn't just wait for my turn to speak, but I actually truly listened and did my best to understand not just what they said, but the context in which they said it. In a special way, I greet our Jewish and Muslim brothers and sisters. because of the Jewish roots of Christianity. Christians have a special relationship with Judaism, which of course is quite obvious to most Christians and Jews because of our shared holy books. The shared holy books for Christians being in the Old Testament, those books that our Jewish brothers and sisters would call the Torah. Okay. I'd like to finish this episode by really highlighting the relations, this last paragraph, between the Catholic Church and Muslims, and how Pope Leo wants a growing commitment to dialogue and fraternity, fostered by esteem. Esteem. Esteem is rooted in a different word that we in American society use quite often, but truly understand only on a shallow surface level. It's rooted in trust. It's rooted in respect, most notably. In order to truly respect another person, you have to understand their context. You have to understand where they come from, the way they live, before you just hear their words. Otherwise, you hear their words, but their meaning is largely lost. Pope Leo is saying that we need to have true esteem for our brothers and sisters, not look at them as other, but truly as brothers and sisters. A brother and a sister is somebody that you live with. At times, do they irritate you? And do you irritate them? Of course, part of being a family. Pope Leo is pointing towards that family. But what does a family do? A family sticks together. A family works together. And a family has respect or esteem for each other. Let us take that challenge from Pope Leo and apply it to our lives, to have esteem for each other, so that we might grow in community, grow in synodality, and really truly be one universal brotherhood, one universal family. Thank you, and God bless.